nearly call this video madness. Now, if you look, you will see I'm not in my usual studio. We're actually on a different location testing the bandwidth for a different broadcast. So if the acoustics different, but you're supposed to be able to get real good streaming, no interruptions. Our tests show we have massive bandwidth where we are, so we're going to use this as that test. But I almost call this video madness because all day today are dealing with madness. Are dealing with people who this family from Talparo call. Now, I want to tell Kuna Caribbean Insurance something. Kuna Caribbean Insurance, if these people have the documentation to prove what they're saying is true, you're in trouble. Kuna Caribbean Insurance. My name is Phillip Edward Alexander and my number is 682-2110. If you call me, I will give you the name of your clients that you are defrauding. And if this is true, if they have the information to back up what they're saying, you're in trouble. You're in real trouble. Because apparently, these people dutifully paid their insurance up until 2 months in 2016 where they had a lapse. But after the lapse, they started back paying and they paid right up to January 2019 when they made a claim. And this is where their problems began. Because they made a claim in February or March 2019, Kuna is telling them that because they missed 2 months in 2016, the insurance void and lapse. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I want to say, if you've been taking these people's payments right up to 2019, you owe them. If you were taking these people's payments, the screen reflected in my glass is bright, the screen from the phone. If you were taking these people's payments right up until 2019, you owe them. Kuna Caribbean, you owe them. Now, I'll give you the information. This is the information that was sent to me, right? I'm going to find that and tell you what is going on. When you're reading the nonsense some people put into the public space, you just want to say, boy, really and truly, we have some real foolish people in this country. And so this is the madness, right? And I'm sorry it's taking so long, but keep sharing the video because we want to stress test. Yeah? We want to stress test. All right, hear it. This is what I get, huh? Now, these are poor people. These are poor people who take out an insurance with Kuna Caribbean. Right? Hi, good morning, Mr. Alexander. My name is, I'm going to leave out the person's name for now, of Talparo. My mom died Carnival Tuesday morning, and we had her in a Kuna Mutual Group indemnity plan. Since 2009 up until February 2019 has been paying right to the end. When going to receive the money, when my mom passed, the Kuna Insurance Company is saying they cancel it since 2016. When, Mr. Alexander, we pay up to the week before our mom passed. We are poor people. My mom is buried, but the agencies are waiting their money. Mr. Alexander, and other people, it has to be paid. We joined that insurance so that we have our mom buried. And no, we don't know what to do, Mr. Alexander. Please, can you help us? This is a picture of the contract, which I have. Now, the contract, I asked them to send me everything. And there is a contract. We got all our receipts showing that we pay straight up to the end. Please, I beg you, Mr. Alexander. I ask you, please help us get our money back. We pay for our mom. This is our mom. They sent a picture of their mother. It hurting us so much that we were paying so our mom could be buried. And no, we are outing people when we put our mom money in place and it's being robbed. Please, I beg you in Jesus' name to help us, Mr. Alexander. I have everything that's needed to show our pay. Mr. Alexander, can you tell me what I need to do? Now they send me a payment. They send me what looks like they send me a picture of their mom in the coffin, yes? They send me a picture of what looks like a report from the Kuna Caribbean Insurance, a statement. They give me the account number, and it's 37 Wrightson Road, Port of Spain, P.O. Box 193, Port of Spain, Trinidad. Mr. Alexander, real plenty num saying policy, but I give you one. Don't know if you need more. Please tell me what you need, Mr. Alexander. I'm the president of a group of Talparo developing youth group. We are talented, we do educational plays and stuff. But I'm just a little tied up now because of my mom death. I does all the plays and it will be a great favor to give you all the support in your pep party. Just need a little time to handle my mom's death. Now, I am angry over this. I am angry over this. Kuna Mutual Group, 37 Wrightson Road, Post Office Box 109. The Family Indemnity Plan. Kuna Mutual. I'm gonna call Kuna tomorrow. I'm gonna go into Kuna tomorrow to investigate that. That's one. Two, another lady came to see me today who bought a piece of land in Sangre Grande, and while doing all of her transfers and everything and getting ready to utilize her land, her neighbor built on the road reserve and blocked all access to this woman's land. So this woman has been to everybody. She's brought copies of all her documents, and she's spoken to the regional corporation. The building inspectorate gave her a notice for demolition that she served on the regional corporation, Terry Rondon. They've not demolished the extension. I spoke to Terry Rondon today. I have an appointment with him on Thursday. So I'm going to go down to see him and to see this property. Because if this woman's claims are correct, the regional corporation has a responsibility. The regional corporation has a responsibility to go and address that issue as well. And Thursday, we will see if that is indeed so and address that. Tonight, I want to address a glaring attempt at fraud by the government. And the government has done what could only be an attempted theft of Paria fuel, which was formerly Petrotrin. Now, an employee of Petrotrin, who is somebody that we're dealing with in the Progressive Empowerment Party, her response to Petrotrin, because Franklin Khan said that Espinet's request for proposal was issued inadvertently, and she said, every time I attempted the Jackass entrance exams, I failed miserably. So this response doesn't fly. It's not even crawling. Before a request for proposal is issued, it first has to be approved. Before approval, it has to be drafted. Before drafting, the idea for sale has to be approved. Before approval of idea, it has to be presented. Before being presented, it has to be conceived by someone. And not just anyone, mind you, someone who has the ears of the cabinet. Bet your bottom dollar there is a cabinet note somewhere that was presented either in whole or part for the purpose of divesting the Paria asset. Anyone who accepts this lame reasoning is too fickle-minded to be referred to as a sensible human being. Inadvertently, my foot. This was the plan all along. Now, What the government has done with Petrotrin, what the government has done with Petrotrin is a level of insanity we've not seen before. Except what's going on Amplia and P-Mobile. Because while you're distracted by who win road march and who have buck, I read all kind of bullshit about buck on my newsfeed, while Amplia putting out their takeover documents that you will be dealing with a different company now because B-Mobile no longer exists. Not the way it existed before. The government is looting the country. The government is looting the country. And while you're not paying attention, we have jackasses like Rodney Charles talking about government favors Venezuelans over Africans. Now, I don't know how to deal with some of these jackasses, but the headline, oops, not for sale, Espine backtracks on Paria oil proposal. Paria Fuel Trading Company Limited was inadvertently put up for sale. That, at least, is Energy Minister Franklin Khan's response to an Express article. Listen, Franklin Khan needs to be arrested and charged. They tried to steal the company. Franklin Khan needs to be arrested and charged for misbehaving in public office. And we had to deal with that. This at least is Energy Minister Franklin Khan's response to an Express article on Sunday that quoted Paria's chairman Wilfred Espine as saying the company's business importing fuel for the domestic and regional market was not profitable and thus it would need to be divested. In a release yesterday, the minister insisted this was not so, declaring, "I wish to make it clear that the divestment of Paria Fuel Trading Company is not within the current mandate given by the government to China Petroleum Holdings Company, Paria's parent company." But that seems to sound to me a lot like when they said Petrotrin is making money, Petrotrin is profitable, and 3 months later, Petrotrin is going to destroy the economy. Sell it fast. What is the truth with this government? You can never know for certain what is the truth with these people. You can never know for certain. But what this young lady said is correct. See, listen to it again. Listen to this again. I am sorry. Every time I attempted the jackass entrance exams, I failed miserably. I forget that part. So this response doesn't fly. It's not even crawling. This is the part that you have to hear. Espine cannot take it upon himself to do a request for proposal. He can't. He doesn't have the authority. I'll tell you why now. He doesn't have the authority to take it upon himself and request a proposal. Please note, now and for future reference, that any state company inclusive of the former Petrotrin and its now constituent parts, have always had one shareholder, and unless laws change, will always have one shareholder, and that is Corporation Sole, also known as the Finance Minister. Listen, these people playing smart with stupidness. These people playing smart with stupidness. That means nothing flies, runs, crawls. Let me read this from the start. Now and for future reference, please note, now and for future reference, that any state company inclusive of the former Petrotrin and its now constituent parts have always had one shareholder, and unless laws change, will always have one shareholder, that is Corporation Sole, also known as the Finance Minister. That means nothing flies, runs, crawls without the permission of the Finance Minister. There is also a dotted line relationship with the line minister under whose domain industry the business of the company falls. false. Example, the Minister of Finance is the shareholder in Petrochin, and the Minister of Energy is the line minister. Guess who approves the board in these state enterprises? Yep, you got it. Good old corporation soul. Tell me again how politics and political patronage is not fueling the modus operandi with Paria now. Go back to this. Before a request for proposal is issued, it first has to be approved. Before approval, it has to be drafted. Before drafting, the idea for sale has to be approved. Before approval of idea, it has to be presented. Before being presented, it has to be conceived by someone. And not just anyone, mind you. Someone who has the ears of the government. Bet your bottom dollar. There is a cabinet note somewhere that was presented either in whole or part for the purpose of divesting the Paria asset. Anyone who accepts, listen, anyone who believes Franklin Can is a liar. Franklin Can is a double-tongued deceiver. Anybody who believes Franklin Can could believe in unicorns, could believe in dragons. Franklin Can is a liar. And we, the people of this country, have to demand that Franklin Can be fired. And then bring Colm Imbert before the Joint Select Committee of Parliament to answer as corporation sole. Who approved the request for proposal? I asked someone yesterday in a conversation who's trying to tell me that private sector running our oil industry might be in the best interest of the country. That's never been a conversation we've had. But you can't just decide today to pick up our company and give it to somebody else. Heather Mauser posted this. Our people are so awake and I am loving it. Heather Mauser posted this on the same issue. Winfred Espine is a non-elected public official who is negotiating a $1.4 billion loan for Trinidad and Tobago Petroleum Holdings. This is the responsibility of the government. Mr. Espine does not answer to Parliament or any of its committees. The current debt burden for Trinidad and Tobago under the Keith Rowley regime is $25 billion, and this loan will be added to that debt burden. The terms and conditions of this loan remain a secret, and the process utilized to secure this loan is also a secret. A decade ago, the PNM administration took a $850 million loan, 10-year loan, at a whopping 9.5% interest rate when the going market rate was 2%. These loans were negotiated for by Malcolm Jones. In the succeeding decade, since those costly loans were negotiated, taxpayers have paid a monstrous $8 billion in interest alone. Winfred Espine apparently has been given carte blanche by this government, and we want to know why. Listen, this can't continue. We cannot continue to accept all of this mismanagement. What's going on with WASA? What's going on with National Flour Mills? What's going on with TSTT and B-Mobile? What's going on when Amy Elias could have picked up how much million? $155 million and buy Massey Communication. Massey Communication was a paper company. Massey Communication had nothing. Massey Communication had some wires pulling Diego Martin and tell people they have 20,000 potential customers. That means if I pull some wire on some lamppost from here to Diego Martin, I could call them 20,000 customers and sell that to Massey for $155 million. And Emil Elias had the audacity to tell the nation that he answers to nobody, not even the Integrity Commission. What kind of jackass farm we operating here? So when Massa Bull lose money, the taxpayers cover it. But when Massa Cow make money, it have nothing to do with the taxpayers. This is a bullshitocracy. You've allowed yourself, while whining back and whining forward, you've allowed yourself, while being distracted with bullshit talk, you've allowed yourself, while being distracted by silos, by people who out here preaching, all kind of preaching, you know. They're preaching this one bad and that one worse, but they have nothing for you. They have nothing for you. It's like the man in your office bad talking your husband or bad talking your wife. So you break up and you're looking to them for a drop home and they come to work bumming drop. You ought to be careful who you're taking advice from. I understand somebody created a group called the, what is? Something about the undecided voters. A safe space, and it's a secret group with 203 members. Who are they voting for? What to eat for dinner? Tired of this. I'm tired of this. We don't have much time to fix Trinidad and Tobago, so all of these conmen and bullshit artists who write in Newsday, Guardian and Express, who point out videos. These people point out videos, you know. They point out all kind of talk, like they have an idea or a clue what to do and leading you to their altar. So if you say, okay, I joined in your religion, they can tell you, well, we don't really have nothing for you, you know. We just in this for the talk. There is only one political organization that has the structure. Today, a man come on one of my threads. He said, who's PEA? Who's PEP? I never hear about them before. If you don't have some policies and some plans, long live the PNM and the UNC, we tired of the bullshit. And I just released some, and I shared them comment after comment. And the same person came back and said, thank you very much. Keep up the good work. The Progressive Empowerment Party this Saturday at 5 o'clock is opening its 4th office. Kamla Prasad, Bissessa of the UNC, just opened their 2nd office following we. They had the PEP opening regional office, PEP put up frames on the pictures, PEP using vote them out as a song, use vote them out. PEP talking about this, PEP doing that. UNC had to do the both. My mother called me on the phone and said, why Kamla wearing orange? I said, because she's sick of being in a shit party and she want to come and join the PEP. And she could join. She had a position to get. All of them could join. The PEP open to everybody, you know. Throw on the orange and come. Because every single day Kamla Prasad Bissessa wakes up, she knows 2 things for certain. That she and her entire party are a bunch of liars and thieves. And that the UNC is a ship sinking at sea. The Progressive Empowerment Party is growing by leaps and bounds. This morning I got calls on my phone from people. I was trying to find out what happened last night. This morning I was getting calls on my phone telling me, Phillip, the talk outside there, boy, all you're running away with it. Because people know. Over 35% in the last NACTA poll tell NACTA, blow away with PNM and UNC. We're voting for the third party. Now, I know for almost certainty because when I go on CNC3, Newsday, Express, TV6, I go on Guardian. When I go to read what they publish, the people will be asking them, so what about PEP? What about PEP? What about the PEP? Why you not covering Progressive Empowerment Party? Kamla, with she little 2x4, 9 people office open in wherever she open it, in the east, get all kind of coverage. We get none. Doesn't that telegraph their fear to you? Doesn't that tell you that those who own the media are deathly afraid? I am the only person who would come out here and ask Kamla, you calling it a win? That bullshit you all built between you and the PNM as the North-South intersection, you should be ashamed to claim that Grand Bazaar was to be demolished the same way Rohan Sidanan demolishing poor people's house in Curep. That same way Grand Bazaar was supposed to be demolished. Nestle has a plan on paper to move out of the way of the intersection. Nestle cut down the ficus trees that was growing in front of their thing. When Manning said we're going to build the intersection, Nestle cut down all the ficus trees. They had some massive ficus trees in front of Nestle, if you all remember. They cut down all, moved their office back, gone up the road, you remember? They moved out of the way of the intersection that was coming. Grand Bazaar doubled down. Who the ass is Sabga? Who the ass is Sabga? A big fish in this tiny pond? Grand Bazaar is the reason every time you try to go south, if you come in from the west, and it will be poetic irony and shameful karma, if what they build there cause some member of their family to get in a fatal accident or damaged. When you come in from the west to go south, you bounce up Arangwes people flowing out from the overpass madness that they have to build, and everything choke and jive up on top of one another. Within 50 meters, everybody who coming out of Arangwes flowing in 2 lanes, 3 lanes trying to cross to go south, and everybody taking their life and putting their lives at risk and taking a chance. Everything is take a chance. How to get on that thing. You know how many people just miss it? Have to go straight past down to past Grand Bazaar to turn around to come back. When you're heading in an easterly direction and you're approaching Grand Bazaar out of nowhere. This is insane. Which monkey engineer approved this? Listen, this is not normal. When you're coming from the east, in the vicinity of Grand Bazaar, a wall rises out of the middle of the highway. I have never seen that anywhere else in the world. It is insanity, and they got away with it there. So if you're coming from south to turn to go Grand Bazaar, our next wall rises out of a highway. How nobody, no, I don't know, I'm saying this, how nobody ain't crash and dead because of that insanity, but every one of them blame Sabga. Because Grand Bazaar built on the highway reserve. Kamala, you was the prime minister and you didn't have the balls to tear down Grand Bazaar. Who is Sabga? Or they're playing smart with stupidness. Have a 1% running this country. It is time to undo that. Here, every creed and race find an equal place. When Sabga Knuckles was dragging in the freaking mud, he had to try and make it in life. Everybody else deserved the same chance. And I don't give two shits about anybody in any community who want to know why I taking on what they think are their sacred cows. They have no sacred cows. This country broken by deliberate design. Too many businessmen have misused political patronage and involved misbehaving public office to their benefit, and considering that a win. You walking around pretending you're a success. When you're a doctor in Trinidad and Tobago, when they give you a doctorate in Trinidad and Tobago, they're literally laughing at you behind your back. You see that order of Trinidad and Tobago, whatever they're calling it now? That here wood, the ribbon it hanging on. That is more bullshit. When you see Lenny say it, go on, you know. When you see Lenny say it, go on, you know. So let's stop bullshitting the people now. Kamala, you want to talk about Farris building, but you can't talk about Life Sport and Anil Roberts. Talk about that. Talk about that. If you want to play in the Gael Pelton stick, talk about what you do. Billions gone. Adolphus, Daniel, and Ebeam get 2 checks for $17 million each for doing jack all but signing a contract. You talk about Farris? Farris have questions to answer, but he will never answer to the UNC because Ola came into government and met one Alexandra Place and a dubious lease. And instead of terminating the lease, you sent Chandra Sharma inside of there to make $83 million betterments to the building. Well, I tell myself, the monkeys running the spaceship. If you met one Alexandra Place and you said that the lease was fraudulent, why didn't you terminate the lease, Kamala? If Faris Al-Rawi and Patrick Manning entered into a lease agreement for one Alexandra Place in the dead of night after Parliament was dissolved, Michael Nahus told me once, Michael, I grew up with Michael Nahus, Faris' wife, brother. Michael Nahus is Faris' wife, brother. I grew up with Michael. Michael tell me, boy, Phillip, you have the story wrong. We didn't want to be renting the building to the government. The government insists. And Chandra Sharma went and outfit the building for 80 million. I take Michael Nahus' word on and take down my post. Only to find out all you rent them a next empty building for a next set of millions. But you're taking people for fools. We don't need either of your 2 buildings. How you all sleeping at night? Sorry. How are the Nahus family feeling to be eating while poor people starving because government misbehaving, leasing bullshit buildings from them that they don't need? How you sleeping at night? The entire Nahus family, Mikey, your family now have to answer. How all you sleeping at night? You and your sister and she husband Faris. How? Is it that you think that only your family must be safe? Is it that you think that only you must have money in your wallet in case your child needs to go to school away or to go to hospital? Is it? I am so ashamed. I keep telling people this. I am so ashamed sometimes to be a Trinbagonian. I look at things that we do in this country and it is insane. And it is so easy for us to just jump out. Anybody who willing to take a chance and try to save this country have to put up with all kind of attack. But all of you who making big money on the people's expense, sitting back and judging and talking like if you all have the moral authority to get anything done. How is that? A shame. Now, nowadays when my family call me to invite me to line and to invite me to dinner, they start to tell me, this one coming and that one coming. You sure you want to go? Because they know Gary Griffith. When Gary invite me to his Christmas party, I tell myself I can't go and play I lineman and laughing with these shit snakes, Stuart Young and Faris. I have no interest in that, none whatsoever. And to the handful of UNC sycophants that left, because it's a handful all there. If only I realize that when UNC official pages put out their documents, Kamala this, Munilal that, when all those releases come out on Facebook, nobody will take it on. Three likes, 5 shares, and 4 of those 5 shares is Alan Karim in 4 fake profiles. That's the truth. UNC dead in the water. PNM has been a cancer on this country from the day Eric Williams and co realized that when they put the British out of Trinidad and Tobago, there were no laws in place to prevent them replacing the bureaucratic thievery that they said they were replacing. So all of a sudden, you flip-flop on why you came into government. All of a sudden, the PNM under Eric Williams decided that they were going to loot this country. Johnny O'Halloran and Privat and people like them under Eric Williams make their name. They have a certain nightclub owner in Trinidad that some people say he had to be nuts, was washing money for the UNC, that just become a massive businessman all of a sudden. There was people who were running Angostura, was using Angostura to launder UNC money. If you audit under Basdeo Pandey, if you audit Angostura, you will see. We can't continue like this. We cannot continue like this. We cannot continue to pretend that how this country is being run makes any sense at all. Nothing in Trinidad and Tobago works. Nothing. We have too many criminals in public office. Too many. There is information still to come on this second building, and I am letting the Naus family know. As soon as it comes, I put it in the public space. Trinidad have to know. Trinidad have to know. And yes, Anthony Knox, you asked a correct question there. UNC suddenly have ideas. UNC suddenly have plans. And all of a sudden, it's sounding a lot like PEP plans. Not one of these ideas that they come in with is original. Not one. Not one. I see Ravi Ramsubag, you're calling names. Not one is an original idea. The UNC have nothing for you. Pour the list, they build this, they fix that. What, somebody just asked one question and they blocked them. What did you do to fix the people of Trinidad and Tobago? To right-size the wrongs in this economy, the disproportionate allocation of public funds, that every single government that comes to power comes dragging behind them contractors that become billionaires. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Not one of these a man called me on the radio on Monday. Today I had a meeting with Robert Amara, and Robert Amara telling me, you need to tell these people you will agree to disagree. And I said, Robert, in this instance with you, I agree to disagree. Because I could never let anybody call into the radio station and say that the Progressive Empowerment Party would contemplate a partnership with either the PNM or the UNC. It is straight up. We have zero interest Zero interest in any of them. We know for absolute certainty that when he come back, when we come into office, we have to bring all of those who have criminally enriched themselves at the expense of the people. We have to bring them to justice. And I am telling Trinidad and Tobago, it is going to pull down many people that you are accustomed seeing in the front of the church, temple, and mosque. The pious and powerful. The pious and powerful. I'm not tell you that. And they're talking big in society, like the blasted Chamber of Commerce, that den of thieves, the Chamber of Commerce whose only purpose is to pursue and promote their agenda, like DOMA. DOMA don't care about Trinidad and Tobago. DOMA don't care about Port of Spain. DOMA care about profit. It is called the Downtown Owners and Merchants Association, but there's only ever had one leader, Gregory Aboud. An entire association of one man. The Chamber of Commerce, I want the Chamber of Commerce to explain their actions. Outside the Chamber of Commerce, a member company, Kiss Baking Company, blatantly flouting the law, breaking the law. We've had all the regional corporations admit that Kiss Baking Company has no license or authority to be vending on the side of the road, engaging in guerrilla marketing designed to drive authentic entrepreneurs and small business bakeries out of business. That's their purpose. That is the whole mission. And people who want to argue with me and tell me about these small sufferers making a living, listen, if Kiss get their way and close down all them small bakeries, you think they need them roadside sellers? You think they need them? You gotta go in Massey and buy your bread. That's the truth. For the Chamber of Commerce to have any moral authority in this country, the Chamber of Commerce have to tell Kiss Baking Company, stop breaking the law. The Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association have to tell Kiss Baking Company, stop breaking the law. We can't go forward with these sacred cows who pretending to be paragons of virtue and elites. I read that in the paper and I see this man talking about the elites. This boy Gregory Aboud talking about the elites in society. Come on, man. Miss me with your bullshit, Gregory Aboud. You not elite. You have a little bit of money in your pocket because we pay slave wages in this country so you can make exorbitant profits because we play a game in Trinidad and Tobago. If you alone could sell it, you could price it for what you want. It's Trinidad and Tobago. We pay slave wages. We gouge the customers. The worst thing to happen to the retailers in Trinidad and Tobago is the internet and Amazon. Because with the advent of the internet and Amazon, all of a sudden, the play field level, people could buy their own thing. People could go and buy things that you sell it for 9 and 10 times the price. These people, so disgusting, have built fortunes taking advantage of people. Christ, if you're doing decent business, that's one thing, but don't take advantage of your customers. Come on. And when the people realize that they could start shopping outside, all of a sudden US gets scarce in Trinidad and Tobago. Just like that. Just like magic, US gets scarce. And still, the people was doing what they could do to get the sales. And just like that, the government come and apply a tax on your credit card purchases. Never was it more glaring when we had the flood recently and Trinidadians all over the world were packing containers and they wanted to ship things to Trinidad, and your Minister of Lies and Deceit, your Minister of National Security and Communication told the nation that because of the flood, for some reason, things at the port got very hectic. So we couldn't receive any donations for Trinidad and Tobago as goods. Send us the money so that people could go and spend it by the 1%. That is the madness that goes on in this country. A direct link between government and profiteering, gouging and plundering and looting. There is no turning back. Anybody who thinks now that the people are awake, anybody who thinks that now the people are aware, anybody who feels that now that the people see the PNM and the UNC for what they are and have been given an alternative, a real alternative. The Progressive Empowerment Party is like nothing this country has ever seen before. As soon as we touch down, we launch policies. Policies that the first time people read it, they say, wait now, this thing makes sense. Wait now, we could do this all the time. You mean the banks supposed to pay us interest on our deposits, so it will force them to offer credit? You mean the banks do not have the authority to arbitrarily apply fees and charges? You mean there could be something called financial services regulations in the country that will make sure the insurance company pays due and owing claims within 3 months or face the courts? You mean they could have that? You mean this country could be run where each constituency could be responsible for sourcing, holding, treating, and distributing its own water so that we can have pure water in our taps, not the mud, chocolate brown filth Wassa sending to people when they get it? You mean we could have a country where they didn't have to spend thousands of dollars on tanks and pumps? When we could get water 24/7 like a former public utility minister told Hema Ramkisoon when he was in England, he was overjoyed every time he turned on the tap there was water? You mean to tell me when people see and they understand that it makes no sense that you could spend $5 billion on public education and some schools be prestige and other schools fail? That it has to be an exercise in jackassery, that you do not have a level play field in the education system, that we have an SEA that is designed for one purpose, to separate sheep from goat, not knowledge based, but by who know who, to put the who know who's in the prestige schools and pretend and fool and say this somehow is how it works. When people realize, wait a minute, 7,000 people fail out of that education system every year to create the crime, the driving, all the need for all the security guards and all the $9 billion we spend every year on freaking crime in a country the size of a postage stamp, that we couldn't fix crime in 6 months, secure the borders, remove the guns, purge the rogue elements from the police service, put a timer on all cases in the courts, create a 160-day prosecute or vacate? You mean to tell me that we didn't know all along that there was a possibility that a government would come along, representation of the people would come along, that would give them an opportunity to awake? That the handful of stupidly, morbidly sycophantic fools who want to still be drinking red and yellow Kool-Aid would be marginalized and isolated, that you wouldn't need a base anymore when the media have to ask you, who's your base? My base is Trinidad and Tobago. My base is Trinidadians and Tobagonians. When it is time for there to be a vote, the 50% of the people of this country that never voted before, this is your wake-up call. This is your chance. This is your opportunity. I remember I was alive when Barbara Burke, Archbishop Barbara Burke, had to go and sleep with the devil, Basdeo Panday, figuratively, to go and sleep with the devil that was Basdeo Panday, to decriminalize her religion. The madness that is this country, the insanity. And when people realize, wait a minute, there is actually an organization that talking what I talking all this time, because that is the difference between the Progressive Empowerment Party and the rest of these bullshit artists who go on stage and stunt for you. Kamala can't stunt no more. Somebody say all of a sudden Kamala singing like she in the PEP. She want to talk policies, plans and ideas. She want to say what belongs to the people and how it's supposed to work. All of a sudden, you know that, Kamala? All of a sudden, why don't bring your tarot card reader for them and read their futures? Why don't bring more bullshit for them and distract them? Why you don't do that? A nation torn apart by the PNM and the UNC, the people have been left feeling like there was no hope. And all of a sudden, an orange revolution appeared. All of a sudden, people heard their own thoughts being said out loud, truth being spoken to power. They were encouraged, stand up, speak out. A political party that built itself on a weekly meeting every single Saturday that featured an open mic, that you could walk into that meeting, not a member, and address the leader. Real representation. When they saw that, they couldn't get over the fact that that is how politics should be done. When you go on the PNM wall, you can't post nothing. You can't ask no question. You don't even have to be Phillip Alexander friend to write on my wall. You just see them come with their foolish attacks. Yeah, they get blocked because the wall will remain open. I am not going to close the wall because of some sycophantic fools. So the sycophants will get blocked, but the rest could come. You don't have to be my friend. People come on this wall and challenge us. And the ones who get answers realize that's how this thing's supposed to be. That's how this thing's supposed to run. That a progressive government, a progressive political movement is what this country needed. There is nobody in the PNM or the UNC that were addressing the needs of the people. When we found out 43,000 people in jail for marijuana and you ain't decriminalized yet, California has the 13th largest economy on its own because of marijuana, and we ain't decriminalized yet. All of a sudden, you're talking decriminalizing marijuana because the Progressive Empowerment Party says, we will do that. Now ask Kamala and Keith, if you're copying PEP policies, where is the recall legislation that will give the public the power to fire non-performing members of parliament? Like Maxi Coffee. Like Maxi Coffee. Where's the robust and transparent procurement legislation that would have jailed Keith Rowley for taking $3 million he didn't have the authority to touch to give to Maxi, who didn't have the entitlement to receive? Where's that? Where's the transparent and robust procurement legislation to protect the public and public funds from disgusting, corrupt government members? Where is that? Where's that? You want to thief PEP policies? Secure the borders. Kamala and Keith, tell them we're going to secure the nation's borders, because the Progressive Empowerment Party tells you within 6 months, if not less, we will shut the nation's borders down. So if you drive out of the yacht club and you sail around Trinidad, you're cool. But the moment you go beyond 3 miles out and you reach into international waters, when you're coming back in, you may be asked to stop and be searched, because we've been taking too much for granted for too long. When your Prime Minister 4 years ago, Keith Rowley, could tell the nation that there are 30,000 illegal guns in this country and no closing of the borders, no amnesty, no bonus for police officers to bring the guns off the street, your Prime Minister is an incompetent jackass, or he wants crime to continue, because crime makes money for security guard companies. Crime makes money for gun importers. You know how many importers they have of ammunition for the police and the army? For as long as you need to be driving up the membership, 10,000 police and 10,000 army, you know how much business that is for businessmen? They don't want crime to stop in Trinidad and Tobago. They want you to buy bullshit, buy water tanks and water cannons and armored personnel vehicles and blimps. Go and buy OPVs, go buy hostile and buy fast attack and slow attack ships and boats. Trinidad and Tobago has been ruined by its government. Our enemy has always been within. Neither the PNM nor the UNC has done nothing to secure this nation. So people ask, how are you so sure you could secure the borders? Go and ask Cuba, who since 1962, nothing in and nothing out without approval, that had to learn to fix and repair everything because they could get nothing imported. Cuba is 50 times the size of Trinidad and Tobago. If they could secure those borders, why they can't secure this one? And you know, if you secure the borders, and right now the technology exists, you could sit down, Rowley could sit down in his house. He and Shorty Boy could be sitting down there playing Call of Duty in La Fantasy with a cell phone or an iPad, looking at cameras, watching the borders tripped by the radar, that sonar boys working together would make sure that anything entering our waters would be picked up, that we could investigate and search. The reality of our situation is our country has been left open for drug traffickers, foreign currency traffickers. We get billions of dollars of illegal US dollars into this country. Ask the Financial Intelligence Unit how it is the businesses that do not have business generating so much income. These are the things that you need to address. When you look at how much wrong is done in this country and how many public officials who have responsibility for oversight, investigation and prosecution, how many of them are not doing their jobs? It is why the country is this broken, by deliberate design. We get to say nothing works. We get to say it because they want nothing to work. Because if we fix it, all of a sudden, Trinidad and Tobago will become a first world and developed nation. All of a sudden, the rule of law will apply. All of a sudden, getting into government or owning government or having a prime minister on a leash like your dog is not a shortcut to wealth. You want a better Trinidad and Tobago. If you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, you have to stand together. You have to stand together. This Saturday, stand with us this Saturday. Come 10th Avenue, Barataria at 5 o'clock. This Saturday, 5 o'clock. We launch the North Headquarters. The North Regional Headquarters launches this Saturday, 10th Avenue, Barataria. Once you're in the vicinity of Maritime Plaza, you will see our flags and banners. Find yourself there. It is open to all Trinbagonians.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can protect our country's fate. We will use it well before it's too late. If it is that who you're voting, pay the other dog. When you're voting, vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the proven to be your simple amount.
When you're voting,
Vote them out. Vote them out. If it is the time is now that
change must come about. Just as how you vote them in.
vote them out. Register and vote them out. If they can see, vote them out. State your finger and vote them out. Show them no mercy, vote them out. Put them up with total scorn and utter disdain. Let's put our country together again. Put them out of power, dominate their reign. Let's put our country together again. If for 20 years
You're voting them in.
and these old returns,
As soon as they win,
they give you big words and enslave your soul, promising you roads and giving potholes.
this Saturday we open our fourth office. Our fourth office we're opening this Saturday, our fourth office. Our first office was opened on January 18, 2017. When we opened, we launched this party at number 19 Stanmore Avenue, Port of Spain. On our second anniversary, we opened 137 Manahambre Road, St. Madeleine. But 1 month before that, we opened in New York City. And the New York City office of the Progressive Empowerment Party is having a support our soup sale Saturday, March 23rd, 2019. So while we in Trinidad are opening the North Headquarters in 10th Avenue, Barataria, if you are in New York or environs, visit the Progressive Empowerment Party New York office, 704 Fenimore Street, between Albany and Troy, 12 noon to 6 p.m. Go and have soup and help build your progressive empowerment party. The information will be on my wall. You can share it with everybody. If you are in New York City or environs, and you can make an outing. If you're not in New York, but you're close by in one of the states, make an outing and go make a donation to the party. Meet the Peppers, go and meet the Birchwoods and Denise Xavier and have a nice bowl of soup and, you know, contribute. This Saturday at 704 Fenimore Street between Albany and Troy, 12 noon, 6 p.m. Support our soup sale.
If they are the reason why the economy goes sprout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the passing laws, and them alone can shout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is the building heights, south, east, west, north, and south, the same way you vote them in, vote them out. Register and vote them out. Totally, stay no finger and vote them out. Rescue the country, vote them out with tempo. They happy in vain. Let's put our country together again. Vote them out with calypso and joy every friend. Let's put our country together again. If their policy
Is a fallacy,
their bureaucracy,
a catastrophe,
if they cannot vote,
and you're seeing so, then your only hope is for them to go. There is not a single minister of health that can explain to you the insanity that is public health in Trinidad and Tobago. We spend more per capita on public health than most countries in the world, and we get the worst public health in exchange for it. There is something else that was released in the world today, and no, it's not good news. The Business Insider released today the 20 unhealthiest countries on earth ranked. Guess who made that list? 20 of the 20 unhealthiest nations in the world, number 14 is Trinidad and Tobago. This dual island Caribbean nation received poor scores for depression, blood pressure, and blood glucose. We have some of the highest counts of type 2 diabetes in the world, sponsored by Universal Foods and Lockjack, Hardcore on everything they import in, SM Jalil on the bullshit they fooling parents, Chubby is somehow healthy, and the sugar juice they peddling. I reading SM Jalil have a billboard in Diego Martin, 100% plus juice. Nothing in there is juice. But we do have an advertising council in Trinidad and Tobago to take down that board. Solo, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, all of these companies forcing a diet on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Listen, depression, anxiety, bipolar. Our society is under so much pressure, so fractured. Our people are not living good lives anymore. They have us drunk and whining to distract ourselves. We have some of the highest counts of alcohol consumption, weed smoking, and drugs because people trying to escape their reality. Trinidad and Tobago, because of KFC and others like it, have the highest, black males have the highest rate of heart attack, death by heart disease in the Western world, Trinidad and Tobago.
if it is fabrication, these statements that they spout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. If it is a frustration, that's make you want to shout, when you're voting, vote them out, vote them out. Before the misuse of deep and out and mix out,
keeping you all up. Tomorrow's a work day. Tomorrow morning between 9 and noon, we're on the radio on 104.7. Anthony Defoe and Janice Lemon Cricky, and I will be there, and we'll be bringing members who are involved in the PEP market. Yes, the PEP market is coming again. Those of you who need an opportunity to make some funds, who just want to come and shop, I read what the food court is going to be having, and that alone is a reason to come to the PEP market. Low prices, high quality, good food, nice people. On the 7th of April, it's a Sunday. We're doing it on a Sunday when everybody's want to come out and relax, shop in a relaxing atmosphere. But Phillip, I have the children. Well, they have face painting and bouncy castle. This is a fundraising event like the Support the Soup event is a fundraising event. The Progressive Empowerment Party, we always begging, we always fundraising, we always trying to sell you a ticket. You know why? Because if the Progressive Empowerment Party becomes your government, they have no 1% and nowhere that's saying, you know, for the 10 million a year, there's what I'm looking for. We making sure that we disconnected from the contract mafia. We are leading by example and living with courage what we profess. We do not want the pocket financiers who come in with strings attached. If you would like to assist us, please write a check. You see how hard we've been working. If you quantify the effort in these live videos alone, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. You see how hard we all work in this party non-stop. One of the senior organizers of the UNC tell me, boy, if it's one thing, boy, all your party busy. All you don't stop. We always have something going on somewhere. And it ain't just a Monday night forum where we come in to climb up on a stage and lecture to you. Last week, Sunday, we had a PEP family day open to all the PEP members. It was fantastic. They don't start planning a sports day. Plenty things happening. The Progressive Empowerment Party is a family. Our PEP market, we were on the radio Sunday at 11 o'clock with Andy Johnson. And we spoke to him, myself and Janice, and we were saying that the PEP market is a proof of concept, is a test for when we get into government, because we want 41 massive constituency markets. You must be able to go to the market and buy anything for good prices, for cheap. We want to make sure that in our first term, Trinidad and Tobago becomes food self-sufficient. No more $50 mango in the grocery. We want to make sure that farmers who want to farm get the support of the state to feed the nation. This is a country that has made flip-flop companies into billionaires while ignoring the fact that if we lose the farmers, we're dead. Our farmers is the most important thing in the country. Our farmers and our teachers and the Progressive Empowerment Party and even our police officers. The Progressive Empowerment Party will treat with them with the respect and the dignity they deserved, that they always deserved. We've kept our people deliberately down, and that has to change. Because we're going to get to a place in quick time under a Progressive Empowerment government. Under a Progressive Empowerment Party government, crime will fall and keep falling until police officers pretty much have nothing to do. And we know that's going to be the situation. So we have to prepare even for that, to transition them, to help them go into other businesses. All of a sudden, security companies will be downsizing. Amalgamated Security will be having flea market sale for uniform and baton because they have no more need to hire amalgamated workers to come and twirl baton. Nurses, absolutely nurses. Our nurses, the Progressive Empowerment Party, listen to it. It is only the PEP that talks about nurse practitioners, which is a step up from nursing and just under doctors. Nurse practitioners run the health sector. I'm not talking about those things, however. Let other people handle the bacchanal. We're talking about the way forward. Nursing practitioners will run our public health facilities. 41 public health facilities open 24/7 with minor surgery suites and accident and emergency that can treat with and deal with any. They would have dedicated ambulances. So if you reach into one of our 41 constituency public health centers and they can't deal with what you have, they would have the ability to stabilize you and send you to a larger hospital. Trinidad and Tobago needs a government with vision, with passion for the people. It is time to erase the bullshitocracy that this country has become, a kleptocracy of contract mafia people that go in and sit down in big shot houses and clink glasses and come up with different ways to rob the country. We need to fix it, and we have the time, length, and inclination. We in this to win this. We didn't come this far to only come this far. Trinidad and Tobago is coming of age. The people are waking up and they are standing up and they are speaking out. And the other politicians in those fly-by-night fake parties drying up and fading away. It is coming down to the Progressive Empowerment Party and the PNM and the UNC. And like the proverbial David slayed Goliath, we will not stop until we lay the sword to the evil tree. We must cut it to the root. The cancer that has metastasized to the bone in this country must be cut out and flayed. We must become the country that we were meant to be, that our national anthem professes that we are. Here every creed and race finds an equal place. We must want that. We must sing that and feel it inside us, that this is the country that we made. We turned it around. Every time you interview Mayor Giuliani and he talk about what New York was as opposed to what it is now. New York was the murder capital of the world. It is now the tourism capital of the world. In a fast 2 terms, we could do that here even faster. They have 8 million people, we have 1. They have 65,000 police, we have 6. We could fix this country so quick. In 6 months, we could have things starting to turn around. Jobs, companies opening up in Trinidad. You're going to take Phoenix Park and declare it open for 10 Chinese companies. What about the rest of the world? What about all of Europe? What about America? What about the rest of Asia? So it's only China must do business in Trinidad? Miss me with that bullshit. We will renegotiate every contract. And if you don't like it, haul. We are a sovereign state and we will defend that as is our right. And we will invite the rest of the world to come and do business. Trinidad and Tobago open for business. Trinidad and Tobago open for tourists. Those who think Massa Day done, we will pay your wherever your flight. You want to go Syria, you want to go China, you want to go India, you want to go Africa. The state will sponsor you one way. Don't come back. Leave your passport on the plane. This is a country that wants to rebuild itself for everybody. Tourism could make this country massively rich overnight. Massively rich. But you can't engage in corruption. These are international companies. Oil companies are notoriously corrupt and they find ways to hide and break the law. But all these other companies, they can't take a chance. They're in a competitive environment. Tourism is cruise ship tourism is one of the fastest growing and one of the biggest industries in the world. They can't play the fool. And we could make sure that we could put 1 million feet on the ground. You can imagine the impact of 1 million tourists visiting Tobago in 1 year. You could imagine what that does to every small trader, every little snacket, every little grocery, every goat racer, every cottage, we have a country. We live in a country. When I tell people this, people think I make this shit up. We legitimize fake taxis, unregulated taxis, private P-taxi. We legitimize that and run the heavily regulated and coordinated Uber out of the country. We prefer that people could go missing rather than account for what happened in the car. This is a mad-ass nation, and we need to undo it and redo it. And to all of those people who eating well and living large off corruption and crime, the days of your self-glorification is going to come to an end, I promise you. You could dirty my name. You could bad talk me. You could talk all kind of shit that you want. It going nowhere. It going nowhere. The people ignoring. The people ignoring you now. They don't want you to talk. I had posted this 2 years ago and I reshared it today. I'd willingly fight the twin cancers of corruption and mismanagement 7 days a week and twice on Sundays if that is what it took to rescue my country. $3 trillion spent in the last 56 years, $720 billion in the last 12 years alone with nothing to show for it but for some overnight billionaire and millionaire friends and financiers of the PNM and UNC. Nothing they throw, say, promise or threaten will have an effect. They may gain traction for a minute, but a day in politics politics is far longer than that. We, the people, have a responsibility to stand up to the corrupt and the racist criminality that has masqueraded as government, that has, for all of our independent history, and consigned them to the political dustbin. The Progressive Empowerment Party offers real and workable solutions to the problems that plague our nations. Get involved in the rescue. We need all hands on deck if we are to turn this disaster around and save this nation from failing. Ignore the petty attempts to divide us. Stand together as one people under one flag. The opportunity to vote ourselves a better nation stands before us, within our grasp. The time has come to take it. To all of my detractors, whoever you are, stop hiding now behind fake profiles. Stop paying $5 and $10 to sprangers to send them to dirty my name. If you really believe what you say that you believe, come out. I am outside. When Rowley play and stunt for Monilal, come outside. Hey, I outside now. All that you have to say, come out. Expose yourself. Expose your hand. Expose your motives. Let Trinidad and Tobago see you for who you are. When people like the Bayshore bunch attack me, I take it as a badge of honor, because I don't want people like them to like me. I don't want them considering me friend. Don't call me for your wedding and your baptism. I want nothing to do with people like all you. I want to deal with Trinidadians who want better for everybody, who understands that if we all share together, we could go forward together and grow as a nation. Where you could leave your door open and your key in your car, where your children could go playing down the road and when they reach back home they're safe, where your elders could walk down the road and go to the grocery and go to the drugstore and come back in a taxi and you know that they're safe. We want a country where every creed and race finds an equal and respectful place. If you take your family to any public health facility, they're treated with professionalism, dignity and respect. When your children go to school, whether it be Fatima or Mokorapo across the road, all schools, same high prestige education. We could have that. We could close the gap between wage earning and wage spending. We could make the cost of living, bring it within reach of everybody. Home ownership for all, literacy for all. We could do those things. It is not magic, it's done all over the world. Trinidad and Tobago could be a first world developed nation in 5 years. We just have to want it bad enough. And if you think the bullshit handouts that you get from the PNM and the UNC, if you think URP and CPEP is something to fight and defend, you ain't know what you're losing. You accepting crumbs and you letting them leave with the steak and the cake. Trinidad and Tobago was meant to be the most beautiful nation in this world. We could still be. We could still turn it around. We could still rescue it. Those of you who are asking where I get any money to pay the debt, from the people who stole it. I am not your mother's and your father's politician. Put me in the parliament. I will follow them to the edge of the earth. I will make sure I tell them, if you go high, I go in high with you. If you go low, I will drag you to hell and beat you there. We are not in this to lose it. You want a better Trinidad and Tobago? Stand with us, stand together and vote for it. Until tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.